Hi, you are a human living on Earth. You probably think history happened because smart people had good ideas and dumb people had bad ones. Great man theory, kings and queens and presidents making decisions that changed the world. Here is the problem: that is not how any of this works. History did not happen because of people. It happened because of rivers, calories, horses, and germs. Those are the things nobody tells you about because they make your history teacher look kind of useless. If you want to understand why the world looks like this, why some places got rich and others did not, why Europe conquered the Americas and not the other way around, you cannot start with Christopher Columbus. You have to start 10,000 years earlier, with a patch of wild grass in the Middle East. Because that grass, wheat, had more impact on human civilization than every emperor who ever lived combined. So let's rewind. 15,000 years ago, everyone on Earth was a hunter-gatherer. You walked around, you found food, you ate it, you did not die. Simple. Population density was about 1 person per square mile. Then around 10,000 BCE, something changed in a region called the Fertile Crescent, modern-day Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. People figured out they could plant seeds, wait a few months, and get way more food than they started with. This was the beginning of agriculture, specifically wheat and barley. Within 1,000 years, the same thing happened independently in China with rice, in Mesoamerica with corn, in New Guinea with taro, and in the Sahel with sorghum. But here is the thing: not all crops are created equal. Wheat and rice are calorie-dense, store well, and grow fast. A single farmer could produce enough surplus to feed 10 other people. Taro and sorghum, not so much. So the Fertile Crescent in China got a head start. More food means more people. More people means specialization. Now you have farmers, yes, but also toolmakers, builders, soldiers, priests, and bureaucrats. You have cities, you have civilization, all because of grain. And where do civilizations pop up? Rivers. The Nile in Egypt, the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia, the Indus in Pakistan, and the Yellow River in China. Why? Because rivers flood. Flooding deposits nutrient-rich silt. Silt makes soil fertile. Fertile soil grows more crops. More crops feed more people. More people build irrigation systems to control the floods. Now you are not just farming, you are engineering. You are creating agricultural surplus on an industrial scale. Population explodes. By 3000 BCE, the Fertile Crescent had cities with tens of thousands of people. The rest of the world was still hunting deer. Okay, so you have food and people. What's next? Animals, specifically the kind you can domesticate. Eurasia had cows, pigs, sheep, goats, horses, and chickens. The Americas had llamas and turkeys. Sub-Saharan Africa had basically nothing. Australia had kangaroos, which you cannot ride into battle. This matters more than you think. Domesticated animals give you 3 things. 1. More food, milk, eggs, and meat without having to hunt. 2. Labor. Oxen pull plows, horses pull carts, and they also let you travel 50 miles in a day instead of 10. 3, and this is the big one, disease. When you live in close proximity to pigs and cows for thousands of years, you get exposed to their diseases. Smallpox from cows, influenza from pigs and chickens, measles from cattle. Most people die, but some survive. Those survivors pass on immunity to their children. Fast forward 10,000 years and Eurasians are walking germ factories. They do not know it yet, but they are carrying biological weapons. Meanwhile, the Americas have no cows, no pigs, and no sustained contact with livestock diseases. So when Europeans show up in 1492, they bring smallpox. And smallpox kills 90% of the indigenous population within a century. Not armies, not guns, germs. The Inca Empire had 12 million people. By 1620, it had 200,000. The Aztecs had 25 million. By 1650, they had 1 million. This was not conquest. This was accidental bioterrorism enabled by 10,000 years of living with cows. But wait, why didn't Native Americans sail to Europe first and give them diseases? 2 reasons. 1, they didn't have horses, so they couldn't move fast enough to build the kind of interconnected empires that develop ocean-going technology. 2, Eurasia is oriented east to west. Same latitude means the same climate. Wheat that grows in Iraq also grows in Spain. Crops and animals spread horizontally across the continent. The Americas are oriented north to south. Different climates, different crops. Corn from Mexico does not grow in Canada, so technological diffusion was slower, way slower. And then there is metallurgy. Bronze shows up in the Fertile Crescent around 3300 BCE. Iron appears around 1200 BCE. These technologies spread across Eurasia because it is one giant connected landmass. Trade routes, conquests, migrations, ideas move. By the time Europeans reach the Americas, they have steel swords and guns. The Aztecs have obsidian blades. This is not a fair fight, it is not even close. So why did not Africa develop the same way? Geography, again, the Sahara Desert is a massive barrier. Sub-Saharan Africa was isolated from Eurasian trade networks until much later. Tsetse is another key factor. The tsetse fly carries sleeping sickness, which kills horses and cattle. No horses means no plows, no cavalry, no rapid transport, so societies relied on human labor, which is far less efficient. So while Europe was building empires with horse-drawn artillery, parts of Africa were dealing with malaria and tsetse flies. Now let us talk about why Europe specifically became the dominant force and not, say, China. For most of history, China was ahead. It invented paper, gunpowder, the compass, and printing. It had the largest economy in the world. In the early 1400s, China sent out massive naval expeditions. The ships were 5 times larger than anything Europe had. An explorer named Zheng He sailed to India, East Africa, and potentially even Australia. Then, in 1433, the Chinese emperor banned ocean voyages. He decided the outside world was not worth the cost. He dismantled the fleet, and China closed the door. Europe, meanwhile, was a fragmented mess, dozens of competing kingdoms, constant wars, but that fragmentation created competition. If Spain funds an explorer, Portugal has to fund one too or fall behind. If England develops new sailing technology, France copies it. China was unified, so one emperor could shut down exploration. Europe was divided, so innovation could not be stopped. Failure in one place meant trying again in another. Columbus got rejected by Portugal, so he went to Spain. That desperation, that competition, that is what drove European expansion. And when Europeans expanded, they found something incredible. The Americas. Empty land, sort of. Empty of people who could resist because of smallpox. Resources everywhere. Gold, silver, and later tobacco, sugar, and cotton. These resources flowed back to Europe, funding more ships, more exploration, and more conquest. By 1700, Europe controlled global trade routes. By 1900, European empires controlled 80% of the world's land surface. But the real acceleration happened in the 1700s with coal. Britain started burning coal to power steam engines. 1 ton of coal provides the energy equivalent of 10,000 hours of human labor. Suddenly, you do not need more workers. You need more coal. Factories appear. Productivity explodes. Other countries that industrialize get rich. Countries that do not get colonized. By 1900, the gap between industrialized and agricultural economies is insurmountable. Europe and the United States have railroads, telegraphs, machine guns. Most of Africa and Asia have none of that. The gap is not because of intelligence or culture, it is because of coal and steel and a 200-year head start. So what have we learned? Civilizations rose where rivers flooded and wheat grew. Empires expanded where horses ran and ships sailed. Conquest succeeded where germs killed and guns fired. Europe dominated not because Europeans were smarter, but because Eurasia had better crops, more animals, connectable geography, and competitive fragmentation. The Americas and Africa were isolated by oceans and deserts and disease. By the time contact happened, the gap was too large to close. History is not about great men, it is about wheat and smallpox and the fact that Eurasia runs east to west. Everything else is just details. If you made it this far and want more stories that rewrite what you thought you knew, hit subscribe, because history is way weirder than anyone told you.